In a previous video, we looked at the major pentatonic scale as a foundation to a whole load of music you'll be playing on the harmonica, while following up close behind like a howling wolf is the minor pentatonic. In this and later videos, we'll take a look at the minor pentatonic from a few angles, visualizing it at every step using Harp to try and get a firm grounding on this scale, where it comes from, and what options it gives us. As well as asking, who the heck does this guy think he is, working so well over all of our minor jam tracks? Let's take a look at it in second position to keep things familiar. Now, it's likely you recognise this already, in the lower register anyway, but let's review. We have the root note on the 2-hole draw, the minor or flat third on the 3-hole half-step bend, the 4th on the 4-hole blow, the 5th on the 4-hole draw, and the flat 7th on the 5-hole draw. Now, I sometimes get the feeling like the major and minor pentatonics aren't that dissimilar, which seems really wrong when you consider that it requires 3 straight swaps, as I'm demonstrating here, to move from the major to the minor pentatonic. Now that only leaves the root note and the 5th unchanged. I've got some ideas about why they might feel so related, especially in the blues, but we'll have to save those ideas for another video. So if you think there's a chance that I'm not just mad, and you're curious to find out why, then keep your eyes peeled for upcoming videos. You'll recall from our major pentatonic videos that we arrive at the 5 particular notes of the pentatonic scale as a refinement of the 7-note major scale. Well, the same is true for the minor pentatonic too. It's most often identified that the minor pentatonic is a refinement of the natural minor scale, otherwise known as the Aeolian scale. Let's have a look at that scale now by adding in the 2 and the flat 6 on top of the minor pentatonic. That's the natural minor or Aeolian scale. It's also possible to end up with the exact same minor pentatonic from the Dorian scale, which is identical to the Aeolian scale that we've just seen, except that the flat 6 is replaced by a 6, and it sounds like this. Now you can see that this scale is a bit easier to play in second position. Now that might not seem important while we're talking about the minor pentatonic, but there's a reason we're talking about these 7-note scales, so keep it in mind, we'll return to it. Finally, let's just return to the Aeolian scale again and see that you can also refine the minor pentatonic from one more scale, which we get by replacing the 2 with a flat 2. This is called the Phrygian scale and it sounds like this. So, what's my point? Well, consider that we've got 3 minor scales here which all have slightly different sounds, which are perfectly hospitable to the very same minor pentatonic. What that means is that the minor pentatonic will work regardless of which of these minor scales your jam track is written in. You don't even need to know which scale your jam track is written in. So you've got great value for money here, and great security too. If you hear a minor context, you know the minor pentatonic is going to work just fine. So the answer to the question of, who is this minor pentatonic really? Is it a Dorian? Is it a Phrygian? The answer is, it's got many minor families and they all love it dearly. And who can argue with that? It's certainly useful for us. So okay, that might seem like a good message for the lazy, but we already knew that the minor pentatonic just works, right? There must be more to take from this revelation. Alright, so time for some enlightenment. It is a good thing to know that you're safe with the minor pentatonic scale. And it's even better now that you know why that is. Knowing all of this means that you also understand that there's only 2 more notes in whatever scale you happen to be jamming along to. And since we've seen that those notes will only be the 2 or the flat 2 and the 6 or the flat 6, your task of discovering which notes they are doesn't look very difficult now, does it? Just play the 2 and see how it sounds, then play the 6 and see how it sounds. If they both sound good, then you're in Dorian and you can freely add those notes into your improvisation without a care in the world. In fact, you don't even need to know that you're in Dorian, you just need to know that there's only 2 notes to add on top of the minor pentatonic. Those 5 notes are safe, you've got 2 more to figure out. That just doesn't sound very difficult, does it? And I bet it sounds a lot more simple than what you might have thought. So here's my claim. Listening and feeling what the notes mean when you play them is the most important thing for a musician to become competent with their instrument. But understanding what you're playing when you hear and feel something that works is a vital tool for helping you achieve that most important task. There is no music without intuition, and knowledge is the environment within which intuition is cultivated. Now there's much more to learn about the minor pentatonic, and we'll be returning to this scale to try and get everything we can from it. But one final point for today is that what we learned in the previous video titled 12 Bar Magic, Why the Major Pentatonic Always Works, is also applicable for the minor pentatonic, but only when the scale at the centre of the chord progression is a natural minor, otherwise known as the Aeolian scale, as we've discussed. It won't work as flawlessly if you're playing along to a Dorian or Phrygian track. Now, if you want to know why that is, then go back to the video 12 Bar Magic, pick up Harp Guru from the Play Store, and see what happens when you use a minor pentatonic instead of a major one. Simple. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any recommendations or questions, then you can reach me on my email in the description. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos, and to do me a very cheap favour too. See you later.